So as I was telling, so first thing what you have to remember is, the 0 day. Okay, 0 day is a very important, um, the kind of, the what do you say, terminology which you have to remember during any point of, what do you say, security related, any vulnerabilities as or any new vulnerability comes out. First, what they will say, there is a new 0 day vulnerability identified in Microsoft Exchange. Okay, getting, guys? Hello.
Yes, Raghav.
Yeah. So in that particular one specific vulnerability which like something related to Microsoft Exchange. Okay, all of a sudden your company is also using Microsoft Exchange. Okay, so attackers are trying to find, they were able to identify a vulnerability in Microsoft Exchange, and using that Microsoft Exchange vulnerability, they are trying to get into your organization by sending some malware through that particular some vulnerability. So now, yesterday was the day that entire world has come to know about that vulnerability. So that particular day is called as zero day. Okay, and the day on which the company identifies, or the organization or the vendor gives us the fix. Okay, gives us the fix. This thing is called as nth day. What it is called as nth day. Okay, so what I'm telling you guys is, if there is any anything related to security, these 2 days which you have to identify. Okay, say for example, the vulnerability has come out, and if there is no fix for that, what you have to do as a SOC engineer, or as a security analyst, if there is no fix for your this is the interview question. If there is no fix for your vulnerability, but you are also using the same, the same software or hardware in your organization, which attackers might try to attack your the vulnerable system. So how you are going to save that? So for that purpose, what you have to do is, you have to go through the incident published by those, the companies. Okay, how you are going to come to know about those incidents, whatever the attackers, whatever they have done some attack, right? So some people, researchers, will put some of their analysis, okay, in a location. Okay, now I'll show you that location. This is very important. Okay, this after the attack, after 1 or 2 days, or if you are only one of the security researcher, or any lot of security researchers will also help us in getting that. Okay, now we are going to see that. Give me a second. Okay, give me a second, guys. Someone message me if I am audible. Yes or no?
Now it is perfect, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Give me a second. Let me go here. Okay. What is it? US CERT. Guys, remember this. US CERT. Okay. US CERT. Okay, is one researching department of cyber security related activities that any of the United States related entities they face, right? These guys will give advisories to all the companies in the US and for the entire world. Okay, what is meant by advisory? Advisory means, okay, remember this. Hey, for so and so vulnerability we have identified, okay, at so and so, the version of it, or so and so hardware with so and so, like, board configuration, okay, all these kind of things these guys will give, okay, that is called as advisories, okay. Whatever the latest threats they have identified, they will give the advisories. See the list of advisories what these companies are actually giving. See, some Siemens, TIM, okay, Siemens, Mendix, okay, Thales. Thales is also one kind of company in UK, okay. Schindler Electrical is also one kind of you might be seeing lifts or some the IoT systems, okay. Aviva, then so many vendors. Every day you will be finding lot of the security bugs, okay. Here is the one location where you can identify what are all various vulnerabilities that are coming out, and also there is similarly one more is there. ICSMA, some ID is the unique ID that US CERT has actually given it to this vulnerability. This same vulnerability, these guys are also some researchers here, and there is some other researchers who are there in some other CVE, MITRE, okay, see this one, okay. This is also is that, okay. This is actually, to be frank, is the more standardized. This is for only US, okay. This is for global, okay. Here you will be able to see latest tweets on what are the vulnerabilities that have come out, okay. And if you want more information on that vulnerability, you can just click on that and go through that, okay. Who are giving this information? Who, like how they come to know about this particular entire information, okay. This entire information about these vulnerabilities, like so and so software has got so and so issue, okay. App view element generic, something is there, something MISP, some even I don't know those things, okay. But some vulnerability is there. If you get in, you'll come to know about more. You'll get more information about it. But all those things are getting listed over here every now and then. So every vulnerability have one ID. Okay, every vulnerability will have one ID. Okay, your mobile, any of the like app has got some vulnerability. Say for example, Google Gmail itself has got vulnerability. That vulnerability will be recorded over like someone do some research and they'll come to know about this vulnerability is there, right? So this vulnerability will be assigned with one ID and it will be updated over here, okay, so that you can see all different vulnerability like yeah, where it is, multiple formats, CVE list, CV records, okay. Give me a second. Yeah, give me a second, guys. CV list, top 10. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here you the ID. Okay. Any expense ID means your vendor might have given or your given you. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Say for
Your voice
example,
is not audible.
155.
It's not
Raghav, there's a break
perfect.
in your voice.
Now is it?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
It's not perfect.
Is
Your
it now audible?
It's not perfect, your voice.
Is it now audible? Guys, is it
Yes.
audible or not?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yes,
now
yes.
it is okay.
Everyone is having the same. Yeah,
Yes,
now is
Raghav,
it
it is
okay?
kind
That's
of
good.
breaking.
Okay. Okay. Might be sometimes we have to bear with that. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So, for example, if I want Android related vulnerabilities, example. Okay. Let me search few keywords here. Mhm. Come on. I think it's very slow. Very, yeah. Okay. Let it be. So, the advisory means they will give the information about. Okay. So, these are the things that are, if you are giving some, okay. So, like risk it, and what kind of versions are actually getting affected in that particular, because Microsoft every 1 week or 10 days they'll be releasing different software versions, because if they identify some, their new feature they are adding, that time they'll give new feature in a new version. Then after that some security bug identified, after few days they will fix that security bug and they will release it as a new version. If there is any performance issue identified, and they will fix that and they will release it as a new version. In those versions, which version is actually getting affected is the most important thing which you have to remember. Okay. So here in this case, say for example, version 25 to 3.11, okay, of this particular software, whatever they have mentioned, right? Okay. Philips Interoperability Solution XDS, okay, something. That particular software has got from 2.5 to 3.11, okay. All those, like right through from 2018 to 2021, in between whatever they have released, this particular issue is there. If in case, if you are also might be using, so you have to keep an eye on these particular kind of, advisories, so that if your company is also using some, okay, so you will come every day. Your main responsibility is to go through the advisories, like it is simplest and easiest. These are
Your voice is
just
breaking.
search for
Hello, sir.
Yes, it is actually breaking a lot.
I think you're
There's a
breaking
glitch in
up.
your voice.
We can't hear audible perfectly.
Can I suggest
yeah, it's not clear. Is it not clear?
No, sir.
There's
No,
a
I
little
think
glitch in your voice.
you have to record it.
Is it clear now? Is it clear now?
No, sir.
Now, okay. No, it's not clear. It's not clear.
No, sir.
No, it's not clear.
Now is it clear?
No, sir.
No,
Now is it clear? Now is it?
No,
Give me a
sir.
no,
second.
no,
Now,
no,
now is it clear?
no, no.
No.
I
Yes.
think.
Is it clear now?
Is it clear now?
Is it clear now?
Still it is breaking your voice, sir.
I think Raghav, you can just switch to phone audio.
Yes, but
You're telling it is not audible. That's what I have.
Again, your voice is there's a
Now
glitch
is
in
it?
your voice. Again, yeah.
Now is it? That's what I was asking.
No,
It's
sir.
not clear. It's
Is
not
it
clear.
audible? It's
No,
not
sir.
clear.
It's
It's not
not
Give me a
clear.
second, guys.
We can
Yes.
audible, but we can't we can't listen perfectly, sir.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
No, sir.
Okay. Hello.
No, sir.
No, sir. No.
Is it okay?
Still
Hello?
no, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
I think. Give me a now. Hello.
Oh, Raghav, again it's breaking.
Still
Hello?
same problem, sir.
No, there's a glitch in your voice. Not audible.
Still same
Oh.
issue, sir.
Give me a second. I'll do some other data. I mean, like within my this itself, Airtel. Hello. Am I audible? Still the glitch is there?
Still
It is
same
there.
problem, sir.
Okay. Give me a second. So, this. Yes. It was working all the fine. Now it is audible, I guess. But that glitch it's not going away. That's what is the issue.
Your voice is not
Raghav.
clear.
Glitch is there, and even then, after some time, you are inaudible, and then you'll come back, but with the glitch.
Your voice
Okay.
is 3 minutes slow, sir.
Okay.
3 seconds is slow.
Let it be. I'll record. Means like it's by any chance again. Let me try. Let me try once again. Let's see whether it will come up or not. Okay. Let it be. This thing is not going to go away from me, I guess. Okay. Let it be. I don't want to waste our time. I think I'm doing a lot of time waste today. Usually it never happened with me. Okay. Okay. Where it is. Okay. So let's see. From my side, I'll be like, shit, man. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
So it's okay. Sorry guys, looks to be this problem still persists. Okay, I looks to be this problem still persists. So give me a second. Okay, let me just like see with however it is possible, in whichever way possible, to how much our extent will go. Let's try to I don't know. This location itself.
Again, you are inaudible, Raghav. You went inaudible for a minute, for a second.
Yeah. Now at least a little bit clear now here.
You are clear now. Right now, you are clear.
Clear.
Okay. No, it's not clear, right?
Yeah, it is good
Okay.
now.
So now it is clear.
It is good. Okay. Let's continue. How much our extent we can cover? Well, let's cover it. Else, guys, if it is not covered, means every one of you tomorrow 7 a.m. get ready. Okay, I'm telling now itself. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, tomorrow. I mean, like whatever we are missing out today. Okay, let me rather than covering some, the security I mean, like attacks related concept. Today I'll cover the incident related aspect. Okay, that's better. Okay, so if you go to this one, okay, and click on uscert.gov. Okay, just open this. In between, guys, just let me know. Okay, if you are not able to, I mean, like if it is not audible, then just let me know. Okay. Okay. This one, just click on this. Come down. There is something called as analysis report. If you see this, are you able to see this analysis report?
Yes.
Just click on that. Okay. Now everybody, after going home today, what you have to do is, okay, Dear Cry, there is something called as Dear Cry ransomware. Just click on that. Okay. So guys, this is, the complete analysis that a specific team has done. Okay. And this is how any analysis report looks usually, but not in this particular condition. Okay, not this much, like all these kind of things, like the normal hashing you will be putting it, the file names you will put it, but these kind of things you don't do. There are two kinds of analysis will be there of any attack, like with respect to the malware. One is called as static analysis. Another one is called as dynamic analysis. What I'll explain it later. But now you just remember there is some analysis happened here. Okay. In this particular analysis, what they have done is, if you see this information analysis, whatever it has done is, on a specific organization, some attackers, they have they targeted it, that organization, and they were able to successfully, inject some kind of malware that is called as DRI ransomware. Okay, this particular malware, what it does, it encrypts the files on the device and demands ransom in exchange for decryption. Okay, so what does it really mean? Okay, I have some files. Okay, say for example, what kind of files this is going to encrypt means what I'm going to lose because of that encryption. See, what these guys are doing is, if I come down, okay, see, these are the files they are trying to target. Your company might be like, some very they might be um, creating some intellectual property, and they might have kept it in some kind of XLS, or some PDFs, some formulas. Okay, some research they have done in PPTs they might have kept. Okay, or docs they might have kept, MS Word, or any log files are there, important log files are there. Say example itself you take, some system might have stored .log files, some logs in .log files, and it is there, .cr, .cgi, okay, ISO files, all important file extensions. First, what it will do, it will identify those important files. These are file extensions. Okay, .exe, .dll, .tif, all these things. .avi means music files. Then what they will do, they will encrypt it. They will encrypt in the sense, okay, last week we have seen what is meant by encryption: converting plain text into ciphertext. Is that correct? Am I correct or not, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, converting the plain text into ciphertext is called as encryption. So if you have some plain text getting converted to ciphertext, what you require for it to convert the ciphertext to plain text? Again,
Decryption.
Key.
yeah, decryption, using whatever the key you have used for encryption. Correct, right? So for any encryption, you need a key. You know which algorithm you are going to use, like which we have seen on that day, right? We have taken a public key, and what you have done, we have, using that public key, we entered some text and we have encrypted that text. Okay, using selecting some algorithm, and using that public key and the algorithm what we have selected, new ciphertext has come, and that ciphertext we are giving it to the other party. Other party will take his own key, that is private key, and uses the same algorithm, okay, and it decrypts that particular information, converts it into the plain text. Okay, that's what last week example, if someone has not attended last week, please go through that very important concept in easiest way. I have explained it, that will be very useful. Okay, so now this whatever we have observed, okay, this encryption, whatever these guys are doing, what they are doing is they are targeting only these file extensions. Like what happens if they completely entire OS, if they do some kind of encryption? What happens if even OS files also, if they do encryption, what happens?
Systems get corrupted.
Yes, system itself gets corrupted. So there is no point of encrypting the entire system. They will choose few set of files where these are the important files for any organization. Let's target on those files only, and let's ask them money. After encrypting those files, let's ask them money, that what is the amount, and what is the, like, in which format they have to send that money back to us. All those things we will be mentioning in a file, okay, there itself. So now let's get back here, where it is here. Okay, so this document, where it is, so total they have 6 files they have submitted for the encryption, for analysis. Okay, so this actually, forensic team, there is a lot of difference in between SOC team and forensic team. Forensic team, what they do, after an incident happens, they will take the hard disk. They will take, like, say for example, from your side, you have come to know about the, like, someone has clicked on some link and alert has been raised, and you immediately jumped on to that alert and you followed up the the user, and you recorded all the evidence in the incident, like how the user reached that website, and why he clicked on that link, okay, and what are the processes that are executed after he clicked on that link, and the same kind of the link someone has actually also clicked anyone in the organization, okay, because someone might have targeted multiple users within the organization, okay. All these kind of analysis they will do. Once after doing that analysis, I mean, like, as a SOC engineer, you give it to the create it and you give it to the concerned antivirus team to clean up that machine and all. Now this incident, if it has to be a severe incident where really some kind of ransomware kind of thing he has clicked, the user, okay, the user, it's not normal virus, it is a ransomware where the system encrypted some files. Now there in your organization, if it is a very big organization, okay, and if it has got a very critical data in it, now the forensic experts will come. There are two types of forensics. One is network forensic, and another one is the memory forensics. Memory forensics people are the people who jump in, take the hard disk and create a copy of the same hard disk and take it to a sandbox machine and start playing around with that and get all these kind of information, like whatever we are seeing now, right? All that kind of information. Okay. So what, either you or they, one thing is common. It's your responsibility and forensic team responsibility to know the indicators of compromise. We can say it as indicators of compromise, IOCs. Okay. So what are the indicators of the compromise? Okay. Here in this case, he has received mail from two different mails. Okay. That is here. Two mail IDs where they, once if you have to get in touch with them after the attack happens. Okay. airmail.cc and memail.com. Okay. With some names with it. Means once if any attack happens, you can actually approach that particular attacker using these mails. And the files that got infected, in the sense, like, because of these files, why there is no file or something here, but why you are telling a file name, means these are the file hashes. Means a file is converted and like created a unique hash value. That is this one. Okay. Total, this is if you see this 027, right, where it is, take this one, copy it once, Control F, Control V. Okay. So once again, okay, this one. Okay. So if you see this, the name of the file we are referring with the hash value, that is SHA-256, means you took the file that the malicious file, and what you have done is you went to VirusTotal. Okay. And if you copy paste that file, say example, I'll do that once here for you guys. I don't have the same file. Okay. I tried to download it, but didn't allow me to do so. Okay. Yeah. Some file, say this one, I'll just paste it. Okay. For your sake. What I'll do, confirm upload. Now it is uploaded. It will give me, like, after it does the inquiry, all those things not required for us. What I want is only the hash value. Okay, let me wait for a second. Okay, now guys, if I show you here, if I take this particular thing, copy, once again copy. See, this is what I got. You know, this is the MD5. Sorry, this is the SHA-256 value. Whatever the file I uploaded, it has converted into some hash value. If you go get into the details, okay, A23 is SHA-256 default, and for the same file, if you would have selected instead of MD5 algorithm, it would have given this kind of value. Okay, so the same thing they are telling. Okay, the file, when you whatever the ransomware malicious file is there, right? For that particular file, this is the, you know, the name we are giving. What is that? It is just one, you know, the SHA-256 file, and it has got MD5 also. That is what they have mentioned here. I think A027, right? Okay, come down. Oh. There it is. A027. A7E, A027. It's not. Okay. A7. Okay. I think this is the same thing. Okay. Let it. This is the file. Okay. And then if you have this hash value, just to take that hash value, like if any time, if you get any indicators of compromise, whether like you found in your organization something suspicious file, okay, what you have to do, you have to go during your analysis part, you found some suspicious file, you just paste it and click search. Okay, here in VirusTotal, it will give. I didn't give anything, I gave the same file here, whatever it is there here, copied it. Okay, so this I have, when I'm doing some analysis, I have identified this as some malicious file. What I'll do, I can I can create my own hash value using some softwares, or I can just drag and drop that file here. Okay, in VirusTotal here. Okay, or I can just use a hash value here. Okay, see, that gives me, okay, some kind of, you know, this is a malicious file or not, it will give me that information. Okay, so there are multiple malicious files that they have identified. Each has got, you know, a unique hash value. So those are these. Okay, now what they're asking, these are called as these email IDs, and these, you know, these hash values are the indicators of compromise. Okay, now let me take this thing also. Let me check if by any chance they are able to get. Let me just try. Now, domain name only I have to give. I don't think. Yeah, one security, malicious, alpha mountain, A, suspicious, web. Okay, let it be. Okay, so these are total 6 files are there in this. Okay. Now let's come down here. Okay, let's take 2B. Which one it is? 2B means this file. Okay, first file findings. Okay, this is the first file where, you know, it will give, they'll give explanation here. If you come down, okay, here, okay, bottom they will give you the explanation. Okay, and just helping you how to go through this report once. Okay, yeah, so many things will be like too much for you, but summary, you just go through it and know the indicators of compromise and see the first file. What is the findings? Findings is what they have identified, what they are doing. Okay, so now just go little bottom, they have description about this. Okay, so what is this? This is 32-bit executable application. Whatever that file is there, right? That is a 32-bit executable file. Okay, this file, okay, is a dear cry variant. Means 6 variants are there. This is one among them. Okay, in that there are 6 files. This is also one among them. Okay, first what it does is it encrypts the files. Okay, it encrypts the files. Okay, identified by file extension. It doesn't encrypt each and every file. As someone, I think Srikanth or someone said, it should not be unnecessarily encrypt entire all the files like OS files and everything. Guys, you're able to get what I'm saying? Guys?
Yes, Raghav.
Yes, Raghav.
Yes.
Yeah, no, like you're able to understand, right? First of all,
Yes, sir.
what is going on?
Yes.
Clearly, no problem, right? None of you guys have got any issues now. Okay.
No, sir.
So this is what. Okay. So we are doing some kind of reverse engineering. Just with an open mind, just go through it. So if the file, whatever it is, this 32-bit executable file, what it does is user has clicked on that link. Forget about how he clicked it, through mail or like through someone kept pen drive or someone shared it in some folder, or we are least bothered about it, how it reached there. Once if he clicks on that, okay, this what it will do is attempts to encrypt the specific files identified by the file extension. What file extension? We have already seen that, right? The file extensions. Yeah, this is the file extensions. These are the file extensions. Okay, on the target system. Okay, used in AES. AES. Okay, so if they are using this particular AES, we have seen that, correct, right? Encryption. Encryption is having, something where you need to have some key and with algorithm, correct, right? This is the algorithm, okay, AES, and okay, some kind of some other RSA algorithm. Okay, so AES and RSA algorithm, anyone they can use it and they can encrypt it. Now they will to encrypt you need a key. This is the key. Getting it right? This is the key. This is the key. RSA public key. Okay. Yeah, whoever it is, could you guys please go on mute? Please. Everybody. Yeah. Okay. So now this ransomware contains the following hard-coded public key. Okay. Public key by default they have given. Okay. In that, like in the file itself, this is the public key. Okay. Key is there, which utilizes to encrypt the target system user files. These are the user files. Where will be the user's file present? In a folder it will be present. Correct, right? Am I correct or not? It will be present in a folder. During the runtime, the ransomware loads the hard-coded RSA public key. Okay. It then attempts to identify all the drives that are connected to the attached system. Hey, first, how many system drives are there in my computer? Okay, he has got 2 drives, C drive and D drive. But D drive is a normal drive. I cannot do anything. C drive has got some kind of folders. Okay. In this folders, which folders have to go? I have to go to the user folder where the data will be present, where all the attachment will be there, like where the documents, downloads, pictures, all these things will be there. Okay. So he will come to know about like that. So during the runtime, the ransomware loads the hard-coded public key it will take. Then it attempts to identify all the drives. First, it will identify where are the drives from A to Z. Means first it will check A, B, C, D, like that. Okay, one by one. If it is there, then it will get into that particular. If C drive is there, example A, B, anyhow, no one will keep those names. If they have kept, or if there is no, C is there, C identified. First A is there or not, it checked in the system, in the executable file, that when what it tries is, oh, is there any such thing is there? Is there B is there, C is there, like that. Okay. See, these guys directly they are actually letting me to connect to those printers. You see this shared folders where I am in this particular, I can go through any kind of menu board, all these things, you know. This is a hotel room. Okay. I'm able to connect to their system. It hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes. If you properly sit, you can crack if you are a very good hacker. Okay. So these kind of things will happen, man. What we can do. Okay. So if C drive is there, then in C drive, first it will go and open first this one. Okay. In this, then again it will check if there are any folders. Then it will go inside. And in that, it will check what is the file extension of this. Okay. Internally, it will check in the properties automatically. They know they might have written some scripts. Okay. This is a readme file. Maybe it's like, you know, text file or something like that. Okay. So then it will go. Okay. Here also some readme file is there. Okay. And then this is also some text file, I guess. Yeah, this is also some text file because the open with the txt file, right? Okay. Okay. So they know that. Okay. Where it is. Yeah. Okay. So first it will go to the first folder, and then what it will do, it attempts to identify all the drives connected to A to Z. For each drive, the ransom will enumerate it and encrypts files with the following file extension. Means like if there are multiple folders, it will go first to the bottom folder. There it will encrypt all the files, comes out. Okay, encrypts the folder, then comes out. Second folder it will go, and there it will encrypt, and then comes out like that. Okay, all subfolders, folders, everything. With these file extensions, all the files will get encrypted. No OS files. Okay, only like executable files, very important files. DLL files it will, because some projects will be like whatever the software they develop. Okay, you developed some software, it will include by default some DLL files, definitely 100%. Okay, so those files are also there. Okay, let's okay. Okay, and then it will write some notes in every folder. Okay, once after a folder gets encrypted, all the files within that folder gets encrypted, it will throw this: your files have been encrypted. If you want to decrypt, please contact the so-and-so mail ID or so-and-so mail ID, and please send me the following hash. Okay, this hash has to be sent, so that he will come to know about, you know, why that hash, you know. Okay, when he targeted which company, okay, with what kind of settings. Okay, he might have created some configuration file where with different you know, attack techniques, what he has used for automation or something, like different steps. So that particular configuration file, which file has actually worked for him to get into that organization. So he'll use the similar kind of, again, configuration file, because so that he can attack similar kind of other companies. Like if he is able to get into this hotel, maybe the same vendor who connected this entire network for this hotel, similarly next to somewhere like within this city, some 10 hotels, same vendor might have connected. Correct, right? Internet, all this local area network, all these systems, whichever it is there. Okay, all these Wi-Fi routers, he might have only connected. So if you come to know about this configuration here, if you know about who is the vendor, then you can go and check all those directly by taking only one single file, all the scripts you have written, target that company, I mean that hotel, then it's easy for you, like do one time successfully and repeat it on other locations. So that's why he's asking this hash file. Okay, this hash file. Okay. Next, the ransomware will attempt to encrypt the files on the target system that have file extensions listed above. After encryption, the target the user files, ransomware will drop this above mentioned the you know, note. This folder will encrypt the files on the targets. Okay, let it be. This we have seen this. The ransomware will then delete the original copy of the file. This is the important thing. So you have an encrypted copy, correct, right? One file is got encrypted. The original copy, if you keep it over there itself, So what happens? You will just delete the encrypted file and you'll keep, as a user, you'll keep the original file. Correct, right? You didn't lose anything. So that is the reason the original file will be encrypted and the new file which it will be with changed to .crypt extension, .crypt extensions. Okay, so you know this whatever, this file, whatever he deletes it, right? Okay, before he deletes it, okay, he will add something called as 0x41 to that, the original file also, because sometimes what you can do, if there is any hard disk problem happen to your system, what you will go, if there are like, very important, your childhood memory photos are there, or your important certificates are there, or you backed up mails are there, what you will do, you are ready to pay money, and you will go to some kind of, the IT expert, the hardware repair shop guy, the computer hardware repair shop guy. You'll go and get in touch with him, and what you'll ask him, hey boss, I have some important files in this particular hard disk. Okay, could you please help me in recovering this? What he'll do, he'll use some softwares, okay, to recover that hard disk, correct, right, which is got like corrupted or some damaged. Okay, so you can around say recover them even if it is trashed. Okay, but this guy, what he is doing is 0x41 something value is adding in front of each and every file. Okay, so that the recovery, if you add some kind of, these like every file will be there, right? If just what he'll do, automatically inside, maybe like I'm just telling, maybe like the similar way how you will get, let me show you. Right click, take some kind of this kind of file. Okay, right click, edit with, okay, like some kind of 0x4 something, some value. Okay, for every file he is keeping like that, for every file he is keeping like that, and then he is encrypting. Okay, then he is deleting. Okay, so the original content you cannot recover because it has got modified. Okay, so they cannot be, they won't be in a position to recover it. Let me go back here. Okay, so the computer forensic software impossible. Okay, so they cannot, it makes recovery impossible. Okay, so what he is doing is, this is the important thing. Okay, before encrypting the target system user files, guys, anyone has got any doubts here? Guys, someone please go on mute. I think, who is that? Yeah, Praveen, go on mute.
Raghav, I have a doubt. Like,
Yeah,
if ransomware can able to delete it, in the sense it should have already got the admin level privileges, right? Before doing these things.
yes. See, if they are able to reach that system, that is enough, right? The executable file, if it is able to reach that system, okay, that's enough. See, if you are able to reach the system, see, deleting means what? Should be able to log in, correct, right? So when that happens,
No,
user
but it
already
is
logged into,
no,
user
but
already
if it
logged
is,
into the system.
yeah. But
User
these
already
files
logged
are in
in.
C drive, no, Raghav. Like, only by default, in most cases, it requires at least admin credentials, right? I mean, to delete or to
Yeah,
modify.
that's what I'm telling. For you to access, okay, the operating system files is difficult. If I'm going here, Okay, and then this I'm getting usually very easily. Okay. Usually you might have seen when I click on this, usually I'll get a pop-up here. Correct, right?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it happens. Okay. Because I have already given permissions, it's not asking me. But apart from that, usually these C drives, music files, pictures, and downloads, okay, desktop, all these folders will be there, right? For them, it is not required. Okay. And one more thing is, if it is asking any such type of permission, okay, it will recursively come back, means like it will be trying recursively, right? If wherever there is any lock, it will definitely come back and it will get into the other folder. It is that much logic they will keep. Okay. But one thing for sure, okay, usually till that extent also we won't go. What happens once I have, this machine, once I click on some malicious file, say this is a malicious file, I clicked on it, okay, internally the code gets executed, correct, right? Okay, without, like, you don't even notice it with your naked eyes. You might see some sluggishness in your, the operating system, okay, but that encryption, whatever it is happening in the background also, you are not aware. Okay, that is, you cannot even see with your naked eyes. In the sense, you can feel it from the performance degrade. Okay, there is some kind of performance issue. There is some kind of like slowness or sluggishness in your computer performance. Okay, but apart from that, you cannot see anything. So first, it will go check this and sees if any encrypted any files are there. No, unknown folder is there. Just go there and check any files are there. Setup file, configuration file. What is the properties? Okay, it is .ini file. Okay, it will check in its the configuration .ini to be to be encrypted or not. Let me check. INI is there. Yes, .ini is there. So it will encrypt that file. Got it, right, guys? Okay, it will encrypt that file and comes out. Okay, and it comes out. Okay, and here any files are there? No, nothing. Come back. Okay, next go to the other folder. Okay, so go and check it here. Okay, get into the first folder. Okay, go get inside and see what is the properties. Okay, it is just a readme description, nothing. Okay, whether .readme file or something like that is there or not, it will check. Okay, it will go and check. Okay, hopefully it is not there. Okay, so it will ignore. Okay, then again next it will go back to the next folder. Okay, and remember, forget about that. Yeah, I forgot to tell, if in case this particular INI file, whatever it is there, right, this one, okay, before it creates the encryption file, okay, after creating this encrypted file, it will delete this file. After creating, it will delete this file. Okay, before deleting is also, it will add, okay, internally it will add some kind of here at the beginning 0x4 something it will add, which makes the recovery also impossible. Okay, yeah, why? Because what is the code you have to give at the beginning of the file, since the end user doesn't know, to make that file readable again, because it is corrupted, because you have corrupted it. Give me a second, guys. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are
you are
audible.
audible.
Okay, so why we are adding that 0x4 something here, right, where it is 0x4 something we have discussed, right? Yeah, this code, what is the text you have added, okay, to that particular thing. If the other person doesn't know it, he won't be in a position to come to know about what is the original content of it. Okay, so that is okay. So then after that, what he's doing repeatedly all these things. Okay, to one after the other file. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just one important thing is there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. Someone is calling me. I'll just reply them. I will call. Sure. Yeah, I just replied them. Okay, guys. Okay, so okay, where we are here, right? Okay. So before encrypting the target file, user files, okay, the okay, include a file full path and AES key to encrypt it. Okay. Wait a second. That doesn't create anything. Okay. Where it is, okay. Here, where we are here. Okay. So next, what happens is once now you have encrypted a file, okay, in a particular folder, okay. Now what to do is to make sure where which file is present, okay. They're you know, they're including the file path, okay, and the key means like whatever the key means. AS key means this particular public key which you have seen, right? You know, this kind of, you know, the key similar kind of key, okay. So that particular key will be like kept inside, okay. For what purpose? For decrypting purpose. For whom? For the attackers only, because what they are doing is, okay, they are just encrypting it, and what is the key they have used, they are keeping it over there, okay. And then what at the end they are doing is entire, after doing all this entire for all the folders, okay, encryption, everything happens, right? Okay, the data will be encrypted and hard coded to the, you know, this mentioned and added the top of the ransom generates a new AES key for every file, okay. And then the executable, where it is, in which way I can explain this to you guys, okay. So think like this: all the files which are getting encrypted using only one single key, same key is used for encrypting each and every file within the entire system. Got it, right? Okay. Now the folder which is there outside, okay, means under the folder you have files gets encrypted with the same key, but every folder, okay, will be encrypted using one new key which is generated by your algorithm, okay. That is like, you know, some you know, MS update, some kind of, you know, the service which actually invokes some kind of you know, like OpenSSL related like encryption. It actually generates this encryption and generates a new AES key, okay, which is going to be used for, you know, like for your like top level encryption, okay. So let me just come back over here. Okay, if I give too much information also, it will give a lot of confusion for you, okay. So so there are multiple files are there. Each file is doing some task. This is doing some kind of, you know, encryption, this file, Okay. In the same way, similar way, if you go to some other, these are the email IDs, okay, and which are suspicious. Okay. Let me check by taking this email ID hash somewhere if it is email ID hash, the same thing. Okay, nothing to worry about that. Yeah, the remaining all other files are like different variants of the same ransomware. Like it will be the same thing, nothing changed. But if today, if we are able to identify the malicious activity, if he sends only one file, okay, one variant, like COVID variant, only one thing is there, okay. So the first wave with one different variant, like the variant is going to get mutated to different versions, right? Okay, so a slight change it happens so that it will become stealthier, in the sense now if other person would have come to know about the suspicious hash file, okay, this hash ID, they might have come to know. As soon as when they identify any file with this kind of hash in their organization, immediately they will block using the antivirus or any other softwares. Okay, but what if okay, if he has got capability to create multiple variants, okay, like this one, and all these things, okay, anyone if it clicks through, means like goes through, okay, even one gets blocked, another malicious, the variant, if they are not able to, because maybe that antivirus team might not have been updated, they didn't know about the same malicious file which is of this variant, because the file is different, that means the variant is different, okay, means this malicious variant is itself different. So if they don't catch it, what happens, they can easily get through, okay, and you are not like like vaccine kind of thing, you don't have antibodies, that is antibodies in the sense here antivirus it's not working there for the new variant, okay, even though you had a old variant you have, but latest variant you don't have any antidotes, means this variant it didn't even detect, it thought it is normal file and it allowed to get executed in your machine. So always attackers are one step ahead. They will have multiple variants, one after the other, they will use to attack. Okay, they will check. But by the time when this analysis happened, there are total 6 variants as means like available throughout the like when the researchers have done, and 2 email IDs they have identified. Okay, till now. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so guys, it is not like each file does different tasks, it does the same task. Don't go too much in depth, just what I wanted to know is attackers how they are using the encryption, which is used for security for you and for me, but they are using it for taking the data as a hostage, and they are actually destroying the industry. Okay, like they are asking money in the form of once if we get in touch with them, they'll ask the money in the form of Bitcoin or something like that. Got it right? Okay, so that is a very sad part of it. Okay, that we have to live with that. Okay, so I would request, okay, just go, these are all like process related things which are not required for you or for me as well. Okay, but we don't require all these things at all, what I can say as of now. Okay, so any doubts till now, guys? Any doubts till now? People,
No, Raghav.
you're all no doubts as of now.
No
Yeah,
doubts,
you will
Raghav.
have some doubts. You will have some doubts at the end. I didn't want it, like like completely in depth, I didn't go. What I wanted is ransomware, what it does. I just want you guys to know in practical way that how attackers have done this. What they have taken the data, okay, and they have beginning itself decided which files they want to encrypt them. So this is mostly like many of the organizations now they are facing. Okay, many of the organizations. This is like, the attack happened on Colonial Pipelines and JBS, okay, and some other companies. It's very strange. They have paid, whether you believe it or not, okay, using this kind of attacks, Colonial Pipeline, how much it paid? Colonial Pipeline attack ransom payment. Okay, but they were able to recover $2.3 million, but how much they paid? Oh. Give me a second. How much they paid? I think these guys have paid 20 million, I guess. $2.3 million, recover millions of dollars worth. Paid nearly $5 million. Correct, right? Okay, so it is not a small amount. Okay, for one attacker who's sitting somewhere just targeting a machine. Okay, what is the system? This is a pipeline, like where they will be, you must have seen that, that where the, the petrol or anything like the facility where it gets stored. Okay, all those. Then JBS, yeah, JBS ransom, yeah. These guys have paid 1 million, 11 million. This happened on 9th. Okay, this happened on 9th. Okay, now Colonial Pipeline ransomware, it has happened on 7th, but it has identified into like, like when they have come to know about it, they have come to know about it only in June. We have come to know about it in June only. This happened, and one more thing, people, this is very important. There might be some attack might be happening without knowing to you in your organization, but you are not aware of it. This is many times happens. Yeah, the meantime that any organization nowadays is able to identify that some attack happened, after how many days they are able to identify? Even with this SOC and everything in place, if any attack happened, means if it is coming out, okay, that you are missed some attack, it happened, but usually how many days it is taking? Either it can be
Average of
like
90
internally,
days.
yes, 70 to 90 days it is now. Okay, 70 to 100 you can consider. 70 to 100 days it takes. Okay, that means it is like almost 2 months, 2-3 months. Okay, so the more you are proactive in knowing the organization and its security demands, okay, or needs, then you will be able to focus on them. Okay, so that's why it's important for us to, going through the logs is very much important. Yeah, definitely. I have, this entire ransomware detection, how you can, now we are check the IOCs, that's it. Indicators of compromise, we have checked. That is not our task. If the attack happens itself, the strings to be in place to catch if any ransomware attacks happens. Okay, say for example, encryption happens, multiple files getting encrypted, like 200 files or 100 files within 1 minute encryption happened, okay, on a single system. Is it possible anywhere in normal systems? No, correct, right? A new files getting encrypted. Okay, 100 new files getting encrypted and 100 files getting deleted from a system within 5 minutes, because the user has deleted the files. Sorry, the ransomware has deleted the files. Ransomware has actually encrypted the files. Two points which you can take and write a query here. Okay, a Splunk query we can write that if any point of time multiple files, like more than 100 files getting are getting encrypted. Okay, so at least rather than like after 10 days, after 20 days to get to know about some attack happened and you are not even, because you won't be there, some servers will be there. To that particular server, you don't even go after a year or something like that. Got it, right? So that is the problem. Okay, maybe you needed something on that particular machine. That time you went, you saw everything is encrypted. Okay, so at least to detect it, if anyone by mistake someone has clicked it and encryption happened, and that you cannot see it with your naked eyes, that everything is happening in the background. Okay, so usually you think that okay, the system is sluggish or the system is little bit slow, so you'll just ignore it and you lock the system, you come out of that particular server because you're remotely connecting to those machines. But if you have some kind of detection mechanism in place where if any attack happens, okay, and someone has compromised, okay, and in that compromise the encryption or deletion is happening of the multiple files, if you would have written the query, okay, and if you are monitoring it, and if you have actually recorded that particular logs and pushed it to your Splunk, and you have a query in place, and that query is an alert, and that alert gets triggered for that particular immediately you can jump in, who has clicked it and why you have clicked it, from where you have received that mail, like any that particular file somewhere within our office, which file has actually triggered this encryption, all that kind of things you can do it. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes,
People, what man? It's like still glitches there in my audio.
No glitch.
No.
Okay, you want some break? Huh? Let's take a break. Yeah. Let's take a break and join back again, everyone. Okay. Let's back by 10 minutes only. We'll take it today. Okay. 11.